US dollar red news, fast profit, 3.15% on the FOMC. Please remember to hit subscribe and let's get straight over to the charts. Just waiting for this US dollar red news event to take place. It's 4 minutes to go and I'm just going to be sitting looking at the charts, just waiting to see if there's any trades worth taking, see if this moves the market at all on the US dollar pairs. Okay, I'll pause for a moment and I'll be back as soon as the news kicks off just to see if I can get in on any trades. Back soon. Okay, taking a few trades on this news event. Spike it to start with. Wasn't too sure which way it was going to go. Spreads were really ridiculously high and jumping around. Now it looks like the US dollar is starting to get weak. So taking the Euro US dollar, you can see there. Pound US dollar. Just got into this one. Just need to set a stop loss on that. Australian dollar US dollar. Left the US dollar Japanese yen. Seems to be fighting against the US dollar seems to be fighting against the Japanese yen, so I'm going to leave that for the moment. US dollar, Canadian dollar, got this one short. Just want to check something, that's fine. And New Zealand dollar, US dollar. So I'll pause for a moment. I'm going to start moving some of these. In fact, I think I'll start moving some of these stop losses up just to lock a little bit in on these. I'm just going to start locking break even on some of these. Not enough in the pound US dollar just yet. This one should be okay. Locking break even. US dollar, Canadian dollar. Can lock the break even on that. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. I'll do the same on that. Okay, I'm just going to track these now and move these price stops up as I see the price going with these. And I'll pause for a moment. I'll be back soon. Back again just to go through these trades and show you where I've moved my stops to. The Euro US dollar, moved this up to 8 pips, locking in 8 pips, giving me a 1-to-1 risk to reward on that. The pound US dollar, just locked in break even there, just a few pips just to cover the costs. Australian dollar US dollar, I've locked in 10 pips on this, again 1-to-1 effect. I'm going to move that up to 20, locking in 20 pips on that. Australian dollar, US dollar. So we're seeing a bit of a move on the Australian dollar as well. US dollar, Japanese yen. Like I say, it's not done a lot because the Japanese yen's fighting the US dollar move. And the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. It's just sitting there. Back again, I'm out of those trades that I took. There was 5 trades that I took on that US dollar news, that initial US dollar news. And now I'm waiting for this. 1930, there's the FOMC press release. And so I'm just waiting to see if there's any more to be taken from that. I'll quickly flick over to the charts and show you exactly what I did there. So the US dollar, Canadian dollar, I took 5 pips on that. All of these trades, I took them, got in pretty fast, moved my price stops up. And it was my price stops that were hit on these. Didn't have to punch out of any of these trades. Price moved up and sucked back and took me out. For relatively small amounts, but still it's totaled up to a reasonable profit. We can see that US dollar starting to kick off now, really starting to move. So we've got 3 minutes left on this candle. I need to wait for this. 3 minutes left before this next news event, which is the press conference. Anyway, I'll carry on running through these. So I took 5 pips on the US dollar, Canadian dollar. See where I got in there. Price came up, moved my price stop up, and then price sucked back and hit that. That was the US dollar, Canadian dollar. The Euro US dollar. Took this one again, same thing, took the trade, price moved up nicely. I locked in 6 pips on this. I thought it was 8, but in the where I was rushing around to get things locked in and sorted out, I was looking to lock in 8 pips, giving me a 1-to-1 risk to reward, but I actually locked in just 6 pips on this. And again, price came back and hit my price stop. The pound US dollar, tiny little win on this, just 2 pips again in there. Price moved up just above where my entry was. I locked in break even, just a couple of pips, and that came back and was taken out. The New Zealand dollar, US dollar, took this one again. Price moved up nicely. I locked in 10 pips on this, 1-to-1 risk to reward. Price came back and hit my price stop. And the biggest winner of the 5 was the Australian dollar, US dollar. We saw the Australian dollar moving off as well. You can see on this candle here, nothing to do with that news. But the Australian dollar, US dollar kicked off. Again, I managed to lock 20 pips in on this, so it gave me a 2-to-1 risk to reward on this. And again, price came back and hit my price stop. We've got 1 minute 20 seconds before this next news event. I'm going to pause this for now and I'll be back if I can get any other trades off. Back with this second news event, wasn't seeing much happening. It was just a news conference. It takes a little while sometimes for the news to come out. It's when questions start getting asked that we sometimes see movement. Starting to see a little bit of movement now, seeing some strength in the US dollar. Like I say, I held back for a long time. I've been ultra cautious with this and only taken a few trades because there's some pairs I'll explain in a minute. So the euro US dollar, I've taken this short looking for further downside movement. The pound US dollar, I didn't take that because I was seeing the pound Japanese yen moving up and I didn't want anything that was going to be fighting. So with that euro US dollar, it just looked like a more sensible move and more of a sensible trade to take. The US dollar Japanese yen took this long. Again, there wasn't anything holding this up, and plus with our criteria at the Price Action Traders Institute, there was more of a chance of this moving outside of an area where I could stick with this trade. Those who know the criteria that we use at the Price Action Traders Institute will understand exactly what I mean when I say that. So looking at this trade, it's out of an area where I can stay in this on the close of this candle and carry on working this. And the US dollar Canadian dollar was another one that I took. Again, another trade that was moving out, and I can stick with this when this candle closes. Okay, so they're the three trades that I've taken on this second news event. I might not sit with these too long. It's getting a bit late here. I'm feeling tired, and I might just take a few pips off of this just to round the day up. Okay, I'll pause for now, and I'll be back to let you know what I do. Okay, back just to quickly wind this up, finish off for the day now. And those three trades that I had, I managed to take a few more pips on them. The euro US dollar, you can see that I got in here, out there, and managed to take another 12 pips on that. The US dollar Canadian dollar, this is the second trade here. This is the first trade I took, and the second news event I got in here, punched out for just 7 pips on that. And the UJ, managed to take 5 pips on that, got in there on that news event, saw it move up and punched out just for 5 pips, just to round the day off and give me a reasonable profit. And so the 3 periods of trading today, you can see London I took +4, New York I took 1 trade +2 pips, and the FOMC news event 67 pips, giving me a total of 73 pips, +73 pips for the day. Okay, I'll close down now, feeling extremely tired, seems like a long day, and I'll be back with another video soon. Please remember to click on subscribe, and if you'd like to know more about the way that we trade at the Price Action Traders Institute, check out my website, which is www.uktoasia.com. Thanks very much, and I'll see you soon.